I'm going to show you the basic edits that I do whenever I post-process a photograph, and I go to Snapseed, and the ones I'm going to show you are usually about 95% of the work I do. There's a little semicircle on the right hand side at the top. I push that, and a lot of times I'll go down and there's a filter below pop called accentuate, and I'll push that, and a lot of times that's a good beginning point for me because I like a lot of contrast and saturation, but I'm not going to use that right now. I'm going to show you the basic edits. So I'm going to press X to get out of that, and now I'm going to push the editing pen on the right center. And up at the top you see Tune Image, and that is the big one. I'm going to go down to the bottom and push Adjust, and you'll see a list of sliders to use to edit your photograph. I always start with the middle one called Ambience. And at the top, I take my finger or my mouse pointer or my Apple Pencil, and I slide it to the right or to the left. And what Ambience does is it balances out the light to where you can get a lighting effect that it's just really nice. And so I'm going to stop right about there. And then I go to the top, the brightness slider, and I'm going to go left or right. And there's no equation here. It's what looks the best to you. But each slider I use, I'm looking for contrast and good color. So now I've got the contrast slider, and I find myself going to the right. I really like the looks of that. And then saturation. I don't think I'm going to need to saturate this much more. And when you use a saturation, you want to make sure that you don't go out of bounds to where it looks phony. And I'm going to stop right about there. And then I'm going to go back to Ambience and start all over again. I like to go through these sliders twice because it'll look different the second time than it will the first. And the second time will look better if you go through them twice. I'm going to stop there, go up to brightness, readjust that. Then contrast again. That's a different setting than the first time. Saturation, I might tone it down this time a little bit. And then I'm not going to go back to Ambience because that would be the third time. And now I'm going to go to the highlight slider. I'm going to slide it to the left. And a lot of times, this will bring in a lot of contrast to your clouds. This didn't show much of a change because I already did that to the clouds in a previous edit. But when you do your skies, you'll love what highlights does to your sky and your clouds. Shadows will give it depth, and it'll darken your shadows. And you can really give it some drama by using that shadow slider. The warmth slider, if you go to the right, it warms it up. It puts orangish yellow cast to it. If you want to cool it down and bring blue into it, you go to the left. I'm going to leave it right about here. When you're finished using these editing tools and you like what you have, go to the bottom right-hand corner and push the check mark, and it saves it. And then all you have to do to put it back in your library is push the icon at the bottom right, and it brings up this menu. You can export it, and that will create a copy with permanent changes, or you can save a copy, which creates a copy with changes you can undo once it's in your library, or you can save it, and if you want to make changes, it will ask your permission to modify it. But before I save it, I wanted to show you the settings icon up in the upper right-hand corner where the three dots are, and then I push settings and slide down. I always like to have the format and quality set at PNG because that's a non-destruct format, and it's better than JPEG. I like this a lot better, so I always have that set there. Now I'm going to go back and export a copy with permanent changes. I don't see the need to pull this up 2 days from now and edit it. So I push export, and it's successfully exported. And there you have it. I want to revisit sliding the highlight slider to the left and show you how dramatic that is with skies. I wasn't happy with the demonstration as it was earlier. So I'm going to go to my editing pencil, go up to the upper left-hand corner and push Tune Image and adjust at the bottom. And I'm just going to go to highlights for this one. And now I'm going to slide it to the left. And you can see what it does to the clouds. Let's see what shadows do. You press shadows to the left, it adds a little bit more contrast to them. Use the highlights and shadows for your clouds, but keep an eye on what's happening below too.